A production of Flint Energies, your local touch-tone energy cooperative. Front Porch Chats brings you along while we share interesting events, places to go, important programs, and hidden gems located in Central and Southwest Georgia. Grab a glass of iced tea while we chat for a spell. Hi, this is your host of Front Porch Chats, Natalie Bradley, and today I'm here with a very special guest from Plains, Georgia. I have Kim Fuller from Friends of Jimmy Carter with me. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you.
I'm going to let Kim introduce herself, and then we're going to just have a wonderful conversation about Plains and all the wonderful events, exciting things that you can do here. It's a perfect blend of history and fun and education and entertainment and shopping and just anything that you could want in a small town. Plains has it. So,
Well, thank you. I'm the executive director of the Friends of Jimmy Carter National Historical Park, where we just go by Friends of Jimmy Carter. What we do is we help to support the national park here in Plains. We help to fund some of their programs. If they have events coming up, we help them with those. Different structural maintenance they have, we help to fund that. We've said in the past, whatever the federal government won't give them, then we help them a little bit. We also help to but manage, I guess, maybe downtown events. We have coming up on June 29th, Planes, Trains, and Fireworks, where we have a humongous fireworks display, and we have people coming from everywhere. In August, we have Butterfly Days, which has for the past 3 years has honored First Lady Rosalind Carter. This is her special weekend. It's August 17th, and then we also have other events throughout the year that we did. The Peanut Festival in September, which has been around forever. We light up Plains the end of November, and just little things in between.
Yeah. So the Christmas in Plains, that's what it's called, the weekend after?
It's the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, and we light up Plains.
Okay, so we'll touch on a little bit of each of these. And when this podcast goes live, the Planes, Trains, and Fireworks will have just happened. But also, I'm going to link in our show notes and on our blog for you a link to Georgia Magazine where you can actually read an article. It's all about fireworks with the president. And it's just a little bit of a story that I share when I came to Plains a couple years ago with my daughter. And we enjoyed fireworks with President and First Lady, and we didn't know it until, they drove up, and it was just a very surreal, wonderful experience that I will never forget. So Plains is just, Kim and I have been talking for a few minutes here before we pressed record, and Plains is just a special small town. Recently, I went to the museum and I learned a lot about the different pieces of Plains history, and I didn't realize how rich the history was even before President Carter was known. I mean, I had no idea, like the state school and all the different testing programs that were run from here, and it's just very intriguing to me, that part of history, and I think a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, we have Miss Julia Coleman. I'm sure in the museum you saw her or saw her background. Was a teacher here at Plains High School that when you walk around and you meet some of the older citizens, they all had her. And she ran all kinds of programs out of Plains High School. And she met with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. She brought Chautauquas to Plains. She brought artists and actors, and to make sure that the children of Plains, and with the children, of course, the adults, were immersed in everything.
Yeah.
Not just the day-to-day stuff that happened. Of course, she's the one who told President Carter, one day you might be president.
Yes.
And then when he was inaugurated in his inauguration speech, inaugural address, he referenced her.
Yeah.
We used to do a play here called If These Sidewalks Could Talk, and she always had her students learn If by Rudyard Kipling, and that was always the last thing we did in the play is people would come out and recite that. And it used to be so wonderful to me because a lot of those people who came out and recited it were people that she taught.
Oh, that's
And I remember one year people out in the audience stood up and recited with them, so that's the influence that she had. And so that's part of our very rich history here in Plains.
Absolutely. And that was very interesting to learn. And like, she's just the epitome of why teachers are so important.
Yes.
And the impact that they make on us. And maybe she's the one that planted that seed.
Maybe so.
For him one day to be
might have
president. So let's talk a little bit about, would you like to start with the festivals and events or downtown?
Let's start with the festivals and events.
All right. So let's just touch on each one and let people know what all there is to do, what's the draw for each one maybe, and because I think a lot of people may not be familiar. I think a lot of people are familiar, but then there's always more people out there that it's surprising how much we don't know about our own backyard. So why don't we start with the planes, trains, and fireworks? Where does the planes and trains part, where does that come from?
Okay. Planes, trains, and fireworks came out of a family reunion where we needed something to do. As a lot of people know or may not know, Sam Shortline comes through Plains on a regular schedule, and they're always looking for things to do also. So we're very lucky when they can come at night. And so we decided that we would combine Sam Shortline's coming through with fireworks. And so that's where Planes, Trains, and Fireworks started. It's always the Saturday before the 4th.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens in July, sometimes it's in June. As our conversation before, sometimes it has poured down rain.
It's still fun.
I know, it's still fun. And the sun always, the rain always stops right at 9 o'clock, it seems like, because that's when we do the fireworks.
That's what they told us when we came. They said, no, don't leave. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
They were right.
And it always is.
Yes.
It always is. We have food vendors who come in. We have music. This year we'll have Jimmy Gaddy, who's a guy from the Lumpkin area who comes in. He does karaoke and stuff like that. So that'll be fun. We have things for the kids to do. So it's a fun event. It's a family event. So we're very proud of that one. And we've talked about that. That's probably the easiest one we have. I mean, it runs by itself.
Right. Yes, that's fantastic.
But everybody loves it. In August, we have Butterfly Day, which is themed around First Lady Rosalynn Carter's birthday weekend. Her birthday is August 18th, and this year's on the 17th. This year, we're pairing Butterfly Days with our Carter memorabilia auction.
Okay.
So we will have an auction going on that Saturday night. It will be a ticketed event. Tickets are $25. We'll have a silent auction, and then we have a live auction.
Okay.
Tyrone Spearman with the peanut industry will be our auctioneer.
Okay.
So we're very excited about that. And we always go to the Rosalind Smith Carter Childhood Garden, which is one of the projects that the Friends of Jimmy Carter works with, which is right down the road, where her, I don't know if you've seen her butterfly sculpture.
Yes.
That's in the Childhood Garden.
Yes.
Peter Hazel, the sculptor, will be here.
Okay.
So he'll be featured that weekend, and we'll have other people here also. But we do a butterfly release that morning, which if you've never been to a butterfly release, you need to come to a butterfly release. It is very magical. And one year the butterflies didn't fly very well because it was kind of wet. But last year they flew fine, and we're hoping this year they'll fly fine also. But everybody gets a butterfly. So that's a big weekend coming up. We've been planning for that one for quite some time. And we team up with the Rosalynn Carter Institute for that one. The Peanut Festival is the last weekend in September. That is a weekend where we celebrate the peanut industry and all those wonderful farmers in our area who work so hard every day to make sure they provide for their family, they provide for the state, they provide for the nation. And we celebrate them that weekend. We have vendors, we have arts and crafts vendors, we have food vendors, we have a parade. That night we'll have a street dance. Slaughter Creek will be playing. And a lot of those guys are from this area. They're a big draw. People love to come. And that's basically a free event also. We don't charge for the dance. Of course, if you buy something or whatever, you have to pay for that. But the stores are always open throughout any event we have. The stores are open. And then in November, the weekend after Thanksgiving, we light up Plains. We have a team of people who work really, really hard to make sure that everything in Plains is set for Christmas. Sam Shortline, I didn't say this, Sam Shortline comes in for every event except for Butterfly Days. August is the month that they take off for maintenance and repairs. But Sam Shortline comes in. During the Peanut Festival, you can buy a ticket to ride Sam Shortline from here to the Boyhood Farm and back, different things like that. They come in, and now Christmas in Plains is really magical when the train comes through because it's just like old timey,
Yes.
and
very nostalgic.
Very nostalgic.
Yes.
We have children's activities. We do s'mores. We do all kinds of things downtown. And once again, the stores are all open. Those are our big events. But we do have a few things that if somebody says, well, let's do so and so, we try our best to do it. So, but that's part of what the Friends does too. And what we're trying to do is to keep Plains alive.
Absolutely.
Y'all
which
done
is a fantastic job of
that.
We talked about
everybody in Plains works very hard for that.
And you can tell, I feel like Plains is like a perfect example of collaboration.
Good.
And a model for that.
Good. So thank you.
Because small towns are appealing, I think, for really every generation. I mean, the more I read about trends and younger generations, they're fascinated with a lot of the history and a lot of the small towns.
I think so. And we're seeing that, for a long time, it was more of the older adults who came to Plains. But I think Tim, who's my cohort in here, can say we have younger people coming through. When I say younger people, I'm not talking about very young. I'm, 20s and 30s who are coming through, or 40s even, saying, okay, I want to see how people live.
Yes.
And when people go away from Plains, a lot of them go, I never knew places like this existed.
Exactly. Yeah. It almost feels like, I think if you're not from a small town or you don't live in a small town, it feels like you're walking on the set of like a Hallmark movie.
Really? Well, and some people have said about our Christmas in Plains event that that's kind of what it looks like.
Absolutely. It does.
That's what it looks
really
like.
Does.
It looks like a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
And we've had people move to Plains because they came to Plains at one time and then just decided to come back.
Yeah, they fell in love with it. Absolutely. I could see that. So before we kind of go off on a tangent, I want to make sure that I get this from you, and we'll repeat it a few times. If people are interested in learning more about events, festivals, activities that Friends of Jimmy Carter is working on, where do they need to go?
JimmyCarterFriends.org is our website.
And I'll put that also in the show notes so that
Please do. And if anybody wants to apply to be a vendor or anything like that, all of our applications are online.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now that we've talked about the major events that you have around Plains, let's talk about the shops, the restaurants that are kind of the mainstays downtown. And then we'll talk about like the country options that you can go do with the Boyhood Home. And
Okay. So, well, downtown, we're one street, and a lot of people go, well, where is so and so? Well, if you go
literally Main Street.
It's literally Main Street.
Yes.
And I'll take you outside and we'll look, see that sign down there. We've got so, but we have a wide variety. Of course, we have a pharmacy here. We have a Dollar General. Every small town has a Dollar General, and it's kind of off Main Street, but it's still right here, close within walking distance. As far as the Friends go, we have the Inn and Antique Mall. If you've never been in our inn, it's upstairs.
It's wonderful.
Oh, yes. We have 7 rooms.
And Mrs. Carter handpicked everything, right?
Yes, she had her hands in every step of the way. So we have the 1970s room, which is patterned after the White House. And then we go all the way down to the 1920s, So we have a wide variety of rooms in there. And so if you ever go into the Antique Mall and you don't have time to stay at the inn, well, what you need to do is you need to say, can I go up there and look? And on JimmyCarterFriends.org, there is a link to the inn. So people can go and look at the rooms and that type of thing too. We also have the Antique Mall, which is full of different vendors who've come in.
Very nice.
And I'm going to plug in a little bit, if that's okay. We're going to be opening a Christmas area that will be open Christmas year round.
Oh, love
We're
that.
excited. I'm so excited. That's Tim's baby. That's Tim's baby. And we're hoping to have it up and running by June 29th.
Oh, wow.
But he's going to do a Christmas in July.
I love it.
So we're excited.
Oh,
excited
yeah.
with
Love Christmas.
I know. So we're very excited about that. We have Indigo Planet,
Okay.
which is an eclectic collection of antiques and folk art, that type of thing. It's a store. We have the Plains Trading Post, which is any kind of political, collectible memorabilia you could imagine. Um, we have the Buffalo Cafe,
Yes.
which is something else that the Friends manages, which is we're open from 11 to 2 every day, and then Thursday and Friday nights. Um,
And my daughter can attest that it's really good.
Oh, well, good. Oh, good. Well, thank you very much. We have a wonderful staff in there who work really hard to make sure that it's very good.
We're
We
doing a good job.
Yeah, good. We also have Bonita's, which is across the street, but hers is more down home
Uh-huh.
country cooking, so she's really good. We have Plain Sweet Stems, which
Okay.
is a flower shop and gift shop.
So pretty. I was peeking through the window.
Oh, good. Yes, very pretty. We have Southwest Trophy and Gifts,
Mhm.
which is a trophy shop.
Yes.
She was in Americas, but then she moved to Plains. Her roots are here.
Okay.
And then, but she has collectibles also. We have Honey Hush, which is a
That's cute.
boutique.
Yes.
So we have a wide variety
It's a nice
of
variety.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can just, oh, wait a minute. Plain peanuts. We cannot forget plain peanuts, which is peanut everything. And the peanut ice cream is wonderful.
Oh, wow.
People come from, oh, yeah, you need
Never
to eat
heard
some.
of that.
It's soft serve peanut butter ice cream.
Oh, my
You have it?
goodness.
Oh, it's really good. Yes, it's very, very good. So, yes, please go in. And they have anything peanuts you could imagine.
Okay.
Candy, whatever you want.
Oh, I love it. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Yes, it's perfect for plain. It's called
Exactly.
plain peanuts. So we have a lot of things to offer. Of course, we have the Buffalo Peanut Company, which is a peanut and cotton warehouse, and that's a group of guys who came back home to open that up.
That's
Yeah,
great.
they bought into the community. They're very community minded. In fact, they helped to sponsor the Peanut Festival in
That's
September.
wonderful.
We have the Cuttery, which is a beauty salon. I mean, we've got anything
Got
you would
everything.
need. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And now what about the venue that's behind the Main
Okay,
Street shops?
we have that's the community
Okay.
center, and that is run by the Friends also. That's and we're working into a redo kind
Okay.
of some things in there. But it's an old horse barn type of from long ago. It's brick, the walls are brick. We have a kitchen in there. It's open for anything you might want, weddings, receptions. We've had junior senior proms in there.
Okay.
When we have our butterfly days in August, we'll also do we'll have speakers in there. Our auction will be there.
Okay.
During our planes, trains, and fireworks, something I didn't mention, we're doing a barbecue cook-off that day also. So that's where our judges will judge the barbecue.
Okay.
So that'll be going on all day long also. But we've got all, and that's called Peace, Love, and Barbecue.
Oh,
And
I love it.
pizza. So we have pizza people coming this year. We're going to be cooking pizza.
Nice.
So we're excited about that. But it's a venue that if you're interested in that, you can go through, and that's on the website also.
Okay.
But you can come down to the antique mall and
Yeah.
put yourself. Now they stay booked up a good
Yes.
bit
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
it's a very reasonable.
It's very affordable.
Yes, it's very
The
affordable.
pictures are gorgeous
They
of some of the
are.
weddings that have been
Yes,
there.
yes, and that's right.
Yeah.
And people have been very nice to us, letting us take pictures of different things that they do there, so that we can get ideas. We've had weddings. We have a courtyard. We've
I
had a
love
lot
that
of
courtyard.
weddings in the
Yeah.
courtyard. So it's just a nice,
Yeah.
affordable venue,
Yeah.
and we like that.
Which is great because most of the venues that you fall in love with are very cost prohibitive for
Thank
most
you.
people.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think that's also another part of what makes Plains so appealing. I'm not going to say other towns that are beautiful like Plains that are on the negative spectrum because that's not what we're about. But they're so beautiful and quaint and have that nostalgic vibe, but they're so expensive that it's made it where only the super wealthy can locate there or enjoy.
Yeah.
And while I understand that that just happens, I think that, again, y'all have done such a good job. And I think maybe that's a testament to President Carter and who he is and what he's always been about, that, you know, it's for everyone.
And that's what, and one thing that we want to do, not just working with the national park system, but also here is we want to continue that legacy, the Carter. We want to make sure that people remember that this is where he, and up until a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you know, and when Miss Roseland was still alive, they were coming downtown.
Yeah.
You know, and what they would do, and Tim can attest to this, they would start at the post office and come all the way down the street.
Oh my goodness.
And stop in and talk.
And just say hello.
All the way down the street. And that was, and they were in their wheelchair and on their walker at the last time they did that, checking in. And the last time I talked to him, he said, I want to hear about downtown. And I told him, I said, all the storefronts are full. And he just smiled, you know, and that's, they want Plains to succeed. And that's one reason that they'll be buried here. They know, or they knew, or whatever you want to say, that people will keep coming.
Absolutely.
And if they come to see their memorial site, then they'll come downtown and they'll eat at the restaurants and they'll pop in and they'll, you know, visit around it. And people here are not afraid to talk about them.
No,
not at all. They're you know, they want to tell the story, and every little spot here in Plains has a different story.
Yeah,
and that's a good.
Well, and you know, like we talked about before, and I wrote in the article, when I came for fireworks, I mean, part of what was so surreal about it is that nobody thought anything of it. That President and Mrs. Carter came to watch fireworks with everybody, and I'm just sitting there going, "It's a president, it's a president." You know, like, you know, my jaw's like on the floor, and I think I don't know, it was just so interesting, and I think that that's, you know, so many people call him Jimmy Carter as opposed to President Carter and all the fanfare that goes with it, and it's not out of disrespect. It's because he's a normal person and so relatable, and she was so relatable, and that's what makes them, I don't know, magical. And
oh, I like that magical.
I mean, there's this element that's just they're normal and attainable, and they feel like they're friends, but also bigger than life at the same time. And I know that that's kind of a dichotomy, I guess, but that's what feels true to me. And like I told you before, like, he just reminds me so much of my granddaddy, and that his whole demeanor, and I feel like the town reflects that in so many ways.
Good.
And a lot of it's because the history of his campaigning and the beautiful places that you can just walk into that are open pretty much all the time, right? Downtown, the headquarters.
Yeah, right here. I mean,
right across the street. Yeah. And it's just so interesting, all the things that you can see and interact with and educate yourself on. And then also at the museum across the highway, not just across Main Street here, but it's just so neat to go into the high school and learn so much and just see the impact that not just the president and first lady, but all the people of this community, the teachers, all the different elements. It's really created just a very interesting place. And I'm so glad that, you know, you guys are thinking long-term.
Good. Yeah. And we are.
Yeah,
we are.
So one of the interesting places that when I came to the museum in high school, Courtney Stoops took me out.
Oh, good. Yeah.
His boyhood home.
Yeah. So we find Courtney is
that's her position.
That's her position. Yeah, we find Courtney's position. Yeah. Oh, we love.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yes.
She's
okay.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Good.
The Boyhood Farm. Yes.
Yes.
Of course, that's where President Carter lived, and with his brothers and sisters. That's a magical place to me because you can go out there and sit on that front porch and just go. You listen. I know this is trite, but you listen to the silence. I mean, there's nothing, you can't hear anything.
No, it's great.
But it's perfect. And what they've done there, I think, is just a perfect example of showing farm life, of course, with an emphasis on him and some of the things that happened during his childhood there. You know, it's especially special to me because when being a member of the family, but is when, go out there and you can imagine them walking through the, and I grew up with stories from out there,
Okay.
And what happened. But it just, the windmill out there, grandma, there's a picture
Yes.
of my grandma and I don't know, some stream. I can't remember who's in that picture. I know grandma is. And she used to talk about that windmill and how it would mess up, and stuff like that. And
the real life version.
The real life version. But there's still people here in Plains, for example, Miss Mary Minion, who's in her 90s now, who grew up out there.
Oh.
She grew up in a family of sharecroppers who worked out there.
Wow.
And the stories she can tell. The stories she can tell about her childhood. But they moved into town. My daddy actually grew up in town. More so. It's just a representation. You've got the crops. Everywhere you look is a representation of not only his life, but the life of all of these people in this area.
Yes. And it's done so well because you take a step back in time, but it doesn't. A lot of times, I think when people try to give you a feel of what it was like, it feels tired, but this feels fresh. Like
it does.
You're actually there, not it's 70 years later or however many years later.
Right. They just my Aunt Sissy, who was my grandma's baby sister. Now she's the one that tells stories because she stayed there a lot with grandmama and granddaddy as a child. Mm-hmm. And when those yards and one time a bunch of chickens had chicken salad and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, she would just tell.
Talk about making lemonade out of
it. Exactly. And she said she was scared to eat the chicken salad, so she didn't know why. Anyway, just all kinds of good stories out there. So sometimes I just love to go out there and see it. Just think, okay, Daddy, tell me, put another story in my mind and let me.
Okay, so if I'm remembering correctly, there's horses and mules, donkeys.
They're mules, not horses. Okay. They're mules and goats.
Goats, okay.
They're goats and mules. They're cats. There used to be peacocks, but they're not there anymore.
And there's crops that are
the crops are growing. James is out there. He keeps the crops going. Yeah. That's his job. So you can, and there's a blacksmith shed.
Yes, that was so cool. And then the little general store.
Yes, there's a general store, and you can go in and what's really neat about it is, you can go through and the different kiosks they have. Uncle Jimmy tells the story.
Yes.
And that's neat.
Yes.
And that's him
like
talking.
Interrupting like Sunday dinner or whatever.
Exactly.
And go tend to customers.
Yes, at the general store. So all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one thing that keeps it fresh. And like you said, you're immersed in that history, that past history. But it's like, okay, here it is. And with his voice, I've had people say, and then we think, well, he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. Yes. He lived there.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it's wonderful for tourists to be able to come and take advantage, especially if you enjoy history while you're traveling. But also, if you are remotely close by, it's such a great field trip for students.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what age.
Exactly.
Honestly.
And that's one thing that the Friends gets to do is, okay.
My daughter, Reese,
okay.
She participated and she got to help show kids different stations.
Oh, good.
So,
yes.
That was a lot of fun.
But that's one of the projects for the Friends. Not only do we help to fund the position for the education specialist, but I'm a retired teacher, so I know how important this is. But we help to fund those field trips. Yes. We'll pay for a driver and we'll pay for the gas.
Oh, yeah.
So that helps
tremendously.
And so all they have to do is apply, and we pay a percentage of what it would cost. So I know as a teacher, my kids didn't go on field trips very often. I taught high school and it was different. It wasn't elementary school or pre-K or whatever, to go through the hassle and, and back in the day, all right, you give me $5, you can, and I know that happens, and I'm not being ugly about that. But for a teacher, we've had teachers to cry. Yeah. Saying we could not have done this if that money was made available to us.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we feel very proud. We're proud of that.
You should be. Yeah, I think it's great. And it helps when they get those immersive experiences. It really makes history come to life for kids. And especially, just reading it in a textbook, that's not fun.
No, you've got to
have the interaction.
You've got to have the interaction. You did. And see, my students were blessed back in the day because there were things still going on in Plains with President and Mrs. Carter. And so I was able to I taught advanced placement and those kinds of things, English. I was able to bring students to Plains to see stuff.
Yeah.
And I still have students. I remember when we went to,
Oh, I bet.
That kind.
That leaves a mark.
It does. It leaves a mark. And so, but coming to Plains leaves a mark on a lot of their kids now.
Yeah.
They come and they see, and who knows, they might catch a glimpse of him back in the day, oh, there he is. Or I know we did academic bowl, and in the past, he would show up and sit there. Yeah. And we've had kids, and I do the moderating of that. And in the past, we've had students miss questions about him, and one time they missed the question. He was sitting right there. I think it's because they were really nervous. And
Probably.
He looked at that boy like, really? But this past time, we had a high school group miss questions about Jimmy Carter, and I'm going, really? In his auditorium?
Come on, guys.
I know. But anyway,
no pressure.
But it's fun. It's fun. But still, we're proud of what we're able to do.
Well, it's great. I just appreciate you taking the time to, sit with me and educate the people that are listening. And we hope that you will come and sit a spell in Plains. And there are actual rocking chairs for you to come and sit a spell.
Yes.
On Main Street, because they want you to linger a little bit longer and enjoy the moment and stay in the present moment and not feel so rushed, because it's a slower pace here on purpose in all the best ways. So again, I'm going to put details in the show notes, but you want to make sure that you go to jimmycarterfriends.org. That's where you're going to be able to stay on top of all the happenings going on in Plains. Do y'all have a Facebook page or it's a group?
It's a group. This is Plains.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the name of
this is Plains.
Okay. I was like, I know I'm on it, but I can't remember the
name
of it. Yeah. So I would suggest that you also join that, because you'll get, little reminders of what's coming up, and you definitely want to make sure that you come for one of those events. And I'm personally looking forward to this fall going on the Sam Short Line and the murder mystery dinner.
Oh, I like that.
No, I love murder mystery dinner, and we want to go. Oh, that's so great!
Yes. Oh, good.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
Well, I will let you know how much I love it after we do.
Oh, you've got it. Oh, good.
Oh, that just made my day. Well, thank you guys for joining us today, and thank you again.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. If you enjoyed today's podcast, we need your help. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us get this information out to more people about what's going on in Central and Southwest Georgia. Also, share this podcast on social media with your friends and family, because it helps get more eyes and ears on what we have going on in our fabulous communities.